Why am I churning out all of this slop that I hate? I'm gonna do something big. So I made a parasol. Hello, I'm Marcus. I'm a crochet fashion and pattern designer known across the internet wastelands as my unpronounceable username, Curious Curiosity. I decided to start a YouTube channel so I can have a repository for more long-form content. I'm mostly active on Instagram, which is where I'm assuming 99% of you are coming from, if anybody's even watching this at all. If you are a wandering denizen of the internet, hello and welcome. We're gonna get into all this very soon. Let me just get one quick thing out of the way, because I'm sure everybody's wondering what the hell. Yes, I will be wearing a mask in the privacy of my own home to film YouTube videos. I don't like showing my face, which sounds like a ridiculous thing to say for someone who relies on social media for basically the entirety of my business to operate. But yeah, I don't like to show my face, so she's gonna stay. And if you want to creep and be a weirdo, my beautiful visage is somewhere in the depths of my Instagram. You can go see how hot I am. But for now, for the foreseeable future, she's gonna stay. Okay, but let's get on with it. What I wanted to do for my first attempt at a video was a crochet timeline. I wanted to start from one of my very first projects back in 2019 and see where I have ended up in that time. I've actually been knitting for far longer than I've been crocheting. I learned to knit when I was about 10 or 11. I had a little klutz knitting book and I pestered my sister to help me purl because I just couldn't get the movement right. And it just stuck. I went wild with it for years and years and years. And then, like, say, back in 2019, I'd always kind of known how to crochet just a little bit, but never really sort of delved into it. But in 2019, for some reason, I was like, I want to crochet a halter top. That's what this thing is. I don't look upon her terribly kindly. She's kind of a mess. There's ends sticking out, although I can safely say I've never been one of those people that is like, ooh, I want yarn chicken. There's 1 inch left of my yarn. I have a 1 inch tail left. Okay. No, I've always been a end weaver. Although apparently not in this case. There's one sticking out right here. I actually remember the exact day that I made this. This is like a couple days after college graduation. And I was bored as hell. And I had a bunch of peaches and cream cotton lying around. And I was like, what can I do with this? So I sort of delved into the archives of my brain and I was like, okay, I'm a master at Raglan shaping for like knitting sweaters because I was really obsessed with knitting sweaters. And so that's kind of what I attempted here. This is just a bunch of double crochets, some rows of single crochet. I think there's some half doubles in there, might be. Oh, this yarn is falling apart, girl, no. But yeah, this is just a very simple bottom-up halter, and oh my god, I thought I was such hot shit for this, especially when I did this little like lace bit across the top here. Admittedly, she actually looked a lot better when she was fresh off the hook, and like I just started wearing her. She has been through several washes. I still occasionally wear her, but she tends to give me like really intense dysphoria, so she just kind of stays here as a little litmus test, a little reminder of where I started, and then I can, you know, every couple months or years just sort of compare where it started and see how it's going. And every year I cringe a little bit more at her, but she's still special. All right, next up we have the first dress I ever made, both knit or crochet. And I'm actually still really proud of this. I still occasionally just make some of these, and I still constantly wear this dress. She's so cute over a black turtleneck and leggings. Oh my gosh. So this was made with Lion Brand mandala yarn in colorway Gnome. I think it was Gnome. You can just go on their site, look it up. It's a pretty obvious yarn which one it is, even without the colorway name. And this was another sort of attempt at applying my knowledge of raglan shaping to a crochet garment. I just caught my glasses chain there. Whoopsies. They're bees, by the way. They're bees hanging from my face. I also made this. They're chainmail. That was way off topic. So this is a top-down raglan. So simple. It's very simple granny stitch. Super simple shaping. Yeah, I like this. It's a very sort of retro modern kind of vibe to it. And this is a pattern. This was my second commercial pattern. Bit of a mess, mostly because I only offered it in one size, and boy howdy, I did not know the first thing about writing a crochet pattern at that point. But yeah, this is a pattern that I desperately want to revisit and very much intend to. I know I keep kind of stringing folks along on Instagram with promises of like this dress or this version of it. It's gonna happen. I just keep getting distracted with really large projects and like other patterns that I think people will like more. This is a pattern that I absolutely want to revisit and grade properly because it's not that complicated. I'm just like, ugh, there might need to be short rows. And don't get me wrong, I love a short row, but a short row in granny stitch, ugh. Next up, this thing. Can you tell that I have rather undisguised contempt for my earlier projects? And that's mostly because they're all like chunky worsted weight double crochet lumps, like no shaping, no actual real forethought to the design. I don't know. I'm just like, ugh. And this is one that I actually just, I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of it at this point, but I'm glad I didn't because now I still have it as evidence. Why am I saying that like she committed a crime? I still have her to put in the lineup. What, did she shoot a CEO? I'd like her more if she did. Oops, topical. We're gonna move on from that. Here's her, and if you can't tell, those are supposed to be strawberries. And what she is, positive ease, drop shoulder, crop sweater. Everything I hate at this point, and made in the absolute scratchiest yarn imaginable. It was on sale from Hobby for one of their Black Friday deals, and I was like, oh my gosh, pink, I gotta have that. And it is worse than raw wool. So yeah, this was my second commercial pattern. Okay, I'm saying all this about my patterns and whatnot, but in fact I actually have a bunch of other stuff that I made, like little like hoodie hats and like berets and stuff. I'm not counting those because we're gonna actually, we're gonna hang her up for a second and we're gonna go on a bit of a tangent. I have some dark shadows lurking in the annals of my TikTok history, and there's a lot of projects that I would like to forget about and never even imagine again in my nightmares. I actually started my TikTok to advertise my jewelry, which is what I was selling on Etsy primarily at the time. And then I started noticing that sort of crochet and my knitting and my crochet did a lot better, got a lot more attention. And my skills actually atrophied quite heavily for about a year because I was just chasing algorithm bullshit. Like, it's like, okay, let's do a quick project, hit the feed, get attention on it, blah blah blah. And so I was just churning out slop after slop after slop, these horrible, hideous bucket hats, and like none of it was good. It's all either been frogged and I've reused the yarn, or it's been donated, or straight up just thrown away because we don't like to think about that time. But this is the product of both algorithm chasing and my own sort of frustration with my like neglecting my skills. So this was how I tried to break out of that mold. I guess it's okay. The strawberries are cute. We love a strawberry, but the execution is not there. And the pattern for this, when it was available, again, just terribly graded. That no longer exists. It's probably never going to exist. I have no intention of revisiting this. Maybe. But for the time being, no. she's just kind of here to remind us of our sins. Quick testament to how much I hate crochet ribbing. All the ribbing on this is knit. Can't stand crochet ribbing. It just looks and feels terrible to me. Anyway, so that's her history. That's her herstory. We're gonna move on. At this point, I decided I like crochet more than knitting, but I hated where I was at. I hated what I was making, and I felt so amateur and immature. I was just like, why am I churning out all of this slop that I hate? I'm gonna do something big. So I made a parasol. And I don't actually have the original anymore. She sold my original baby. She got picked up by a lovely mother of two in the Greensboro Summer Solstice Fair. Shout out, love her. Just as, like, you know, vendors were kind of breaking down, and she's like, do you still have the parasol? And I was like, yes, I do, girl. And she's like, can I have it? I was like, so they're my most expensive item because, like, hardware, the beading, and the lace itself. And I was like, honey, are you sure? Because, like, she's a mom of two. She got kids to feed. But she'd been thinking about it all day, and she scooped it up, and she was so happy. And I'm so mad I didn't get a picture with her. I always get pictures with people who buy, like, my big statement jewelry pieces and my crochet. I didn't get a picture with her, but she was so sweet and she was so lovely. And I got a little bit, like, choked up watching it leave. I was like, oh, my baby, my OG. To sort of get into the specifics of that parasol, I used to be really active on r/crochet. Not so much anymore, kind of dipping my toes back in there. That's a discussion for another time. And I'd seen someone post their parasol that they'd made, and I was like, I need the info. Tell me, because I'd always wanted to make a parasol, and I always thought I would end up knitting one. But you can just get so much wilder with crochet lace. And so I got all the info off this person. They let me know where they got their frames from. Umbrella Joanne, or Joan, still don't know how it's pronounced. They are a supplier out of Washington State. They only deliver US domestic. If you're in UK, Europe, Vina Cava also have a 35-inch 10-rib parasol frame. Anyway, we're getting way off topic here. So I got the info, and I found a pattern. And it was the Pineapple Lace Parasol by Ira Rott. And me, being stupidly overeager, I snapped up the pattern, and I snapped up an umbrella frame. Come to realize it's a 10-rib parasol frame, and Ira Rott's pattern is for an 8-rib umbrella. Not just 8 ribs, but a 48-inch diameter umbrella, whereas my parasol frame was 35. So I was a little discouraged, but goddamn was I determined. So I spent about a week completely tearing apart Ira's pattern and building it from the ground up so I could use both her beautiful motif. I love the way she does the pineapples stacked with, like, the inverted V's of the cluster stitches. It just looks so gorgeous. It's so simple, but it's so gorgeous. Shout out Ira. Go buy her pattern. If you have, like, a regular umbrella frame, go buy her pattern and do that if you've ever wanted to make a parasol. And yeah, so I really had to just completely unlearn everything that I sort of knew about crochet at that point. I had actually made a very intense lace doily, the Ley Lines doily by Draguna, but I'd sort of just kind of plodded through that pattern. No hate to her, it was a fabulously written pattern, absolutely adore it. But I didn't really understand how stitches were interacting with each other, and why you do this versus that, and how stitches build on top of each other, especially when you're making lace. But, like, having to reverse engineer Ira's pattern, it just clicked. If I could snap, I can't snap. If I could snap, it clicked. Granted, the motif was not symmetrical and lining up with the ribs, but I was so damn proud of that thing. And she absolutely blew up on TikTok by my standards at that point. And I was like, this, to pull a quote from Mulholland Drive, can you tell I love David Lynch? This is the girl. This is what I want to do. Lace. Beautiful, complicated, intricate pieces. And it clicked all thanks to Ira's pattern. So I made 3 parasols in the span of like 2 weeks. And I was just absolutely in love with them for ages and ages and ages. And now things get a little bit sort of mishmashy. While I was still really active on TikTok, I'm not anymore. But as I was scrolling, I saw these fabulous wrap pants, fisherman's trousers. They're like a staple in Asian fashion. And I was like, oh, that's going to be my next big thing. I'm going to crochet those, and people are going to go badonkers for them. And I was right. I will pull up archive footage of these. Now, I know I just went on a whole big spiel about how I wanted to do intricate things in lace, and then here I am sort of backsliding into chunky worsted double crochet. Actually, that was DK yarn, not worsted. But the intricacy was in the construction, because it was just a nightmare and a half to reverse engineer how these damn pants work. And it did blow up. Boy howdy, that got popular. People really liked those. So I ended up putting out a pattern recipe for those. That is still commercially available. It's one that I want to revisit and redo again, also to get it in line with my style guide and just make dozens of improvements. It still works great. I'm constantly seeing like people's shorts and trousers and cute stuff that they make using the recipe, and I'm like, you're so cool. But yeah, so those happened, and then now we take kind of a depressing turn. November of that year, I had a neck injury, and that put me out of commission for several months from just pain and depression. I don't want to dwell on that in this video. That's depressing. You're not here for that. You're here for this. But yeah, so there were several months where I just wasn't doing anything. I was really into chainmail as well, still really into jewelry making. I wasn't crocheting, I wasn't mailing, nothing. I was just trying to get through. And then I sort of dipped my toes back into crochet with just this awful, just terrible okay, I kind of got to stop disparaging myself like that. But it was an interesting moment where I came back to crochet, and the first thing that I make is just this sad little like mushroom earring holder thing. And a couple months ago, I was making entire parasols. So it was just sort of a reflection of my mental state at the time and my desperation to sort of get some relevancy back, because at that point, TikTok was very much my main hub of marketing. Moving on from that, now to actually get back to some damn nice crochet, once I started to get in a better place, like physically and mentally after the injury, I was just determined to make something stupidly complicated. And my brain was sort of still on the idea of wrap pants, but I was like, it has to be lace. They have to be lace. We're gonna do some pineapple lace wrap pants. And not only that, we're gonna do them in a rainbow gradient. So using 4 cakes of Hobby Sultan Cotton King's Rainbow Pyrite, it's such a mouthful to remember all that, I made these, and we're gonna put up some, archival footage, because these pants no longer exist, because, spoiler alert, I frogged them to get like one portion of the blue gradient for this dress, because I didn't have enough for the dress. Also, I didn't really wear the pants anymore, so oops. So yeah, they no longer exist. Only in my memories, only in my dreams. I'm actually filming this after talking about 2 pieces that I shouldn't have talked about just yet. I once again, after the pineapple lace wrap pants, I once again got the itch for a parasol. But I wanted to make my own design. I wanted to do my own lace. This is what I came up with. And I'll be putting up some background, some B-reel for you all to enjoy of the twirlies and the sparklies, because the way this is set up, it's not feasible for me to do that while I'm sitting here. But once again, hardware is from Umbrella Joan, 35-inch Georgia parasol frame, 10 ribs, what have you. And the yarn is Hobby Sultan Cotton Kings in colorway, oh my god, what is it? Pink Sapphire. My favorite. And I have another project to talk about with more Pink Sapphire in a little bit. But yeah, so I made a parasol and I made my own pattern. And it's, you know, you could go and buy that and make it yourself if you'd like to. It's super easy. Even though there aren't any charts, I love a chart. We're best friends, but I don't have the software to make them. I've tried using Stitch Fiddle. Hate it, absolutely hate it. I've heard that people use like Adobe, and I'm not giving them my money, and I don't understand how it works. So charts just aren't happening. But the feedback from customers is super easy even without charts. It's 49 rounds of lace, which is so easy. You can go make yourself a beautiful girl right now. And of course, I always embellish them with chandelier beads so that I turn into a walking sun catcher. This one is actually the most recent iteration, and this is for my brother. He's a drag artist in Asheville, and he did Vincent van Gogh. And I'm going to put up pictures because just look at these. Look at all of these. Are you kidding me? I know this isn't crochet, but like, this is why I made this yellow parasol. Insane. My brother's so cool. Go check him out. He's at Crystalline Powers on Instagram. I'm going to put all of his socials because you have to go see his art. It's insane. And you have to go specifically see his art, the clown drag look. Are you kidding me? It's so good. This is such a tangent, but whatever. If you like my art, you need to go look at my brother's art, because holy shit. And we are absolutely going to be doing like a proper photo shoot with this. I'm in Winston-Salem, so like we're a couple hours apart. It's not really easy to get together, but like I messaged him. I was like, do you want a parasol for that look? And he was like, oh my god, yes. So this exists for him. And I actually bought another cake of this. This is, I can't remember the colorway. Again, just more Hobby Sultan Cotton Kings. I bought another cake of this yellow to make one for me because I absolutely love this colorway. I didn't think I would like it so much, but I need one for me. Oh, I completely forgot to name the pattern. It's my Cherry Blossamer Parasol. Again, with the frickin' portmanteaus. Blossom, Gossamer, Blossamer. There you go. It sounds nice. And it's infinitely more readable and pronounceable than my stupid handle. But anyway, yeah, here's her. We love her. We love her. I use her all the time. She's wonderful. So finally, to get back to the stuff behind me, I was still on wrap pants, and I decided, oh boy howdy, my background's wobbling. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make an actual like one-to-one pattern for the wrap pants, for those blue and pink cotton candy wrap pants. And that's what these are. But I very much intend to frog these and reuse the yarn, or donate the yarn. I don't wear these ever, but boy and howdy, these absolutely blew the hell up on TikTok. I think the initial video had something like 15 million views, and oh my god, this was for a pattern testing call, and my glasses chain is stuck. We're good. This was for the pattern testing call, and all of a sudden I had my absolute pick of the litter, and I was delighted. And then the video strayed into bigot territory, and the people who think I'm a trans woman started sending death threats, and you know, I had to turn off comments for that. By the way, I'm a trans man, not trans woman, but I'm still flattered when people think I'm a trans woman. I'm like, ooh, you think I'm hot? This is gonna get cut. I can't be posting this. I don't know, man. It's a compliment to me. Not the death threats, but like, I love my sisters. I love my trans sisters. Anyway, way tangent. So yeah, this was my next big thing, my next big pattern. That test is a success. That pattern is a huge success. Honestly, if you want to make some wrap pants, just buy the pattern for this. They're my flower child wrap pants. They are sized up to big. I'll put a little little blurb or something with all that information. Also links and whatnot, and you can go check it out. But like, this is my first properly, legitimately, really well graded pattern, and I'm still grateful she exists, even though I don't wear her, and she's gonna get frogged. So, oh well. I sort of owe my entire career as a successful pattern designer to her. And this is, I'm gonna put up archive footage, be real and what have you, because I cannot show this off as it is right now. You have to see her in action. This was something that I just threw together on a whim. It was like, I'd always sort of known mandala coats exist, and it was getting towards Halloween time, and I was like, ooh, spiderweb coat, let's do it. And I did it. And at this point, I had had little to no success posting on Instagram, and I just threw this reel up on a whim. You can see it's not a particularly glamorous reel, the lighting's terrible, I look goofy, but just exploded. Absolutely blew the hell up. I had like 10,000 followers overnight, and I was scared. I was scared and thrilled, and I didn't know what to do. So people were absolutely clamoring for the pattern, and this is where I very much have to admit to falling prey to hype and clout and social media and metrics and numbers and all that jazz. And I absolutely rushed to put the pattern out for this thing. It's not that it wasn't well written, it was. I had a very, at the time, decent style guide. It is vastly improved since then. But the grading, she was not it. And bless my testers, absolute sweethearts. I think they were hesitant to bring up issues about sizing because all of a sudden I was a big name, and I wasn't selecting testers based on follower counts or whatever. I was just like, I need to know if you can crochet and work within the time frame. So there was this sort of disconnect going on of, I think a lot of them are like, I don't want to upset this designer with feedback about the fit, even though it was not there. She was just not there. And for over a year, that pattern was commercially available, and 80% of people enjoyed it. They found this fit successful, but I've just been dissatisfied with it for so long, and as of last month, November 16th, the updated version is available. She's been completely redesigned. It is the most intense amount of work I've ever put into a pattern. She is finally where I wanted her to be originally, and I'm so happy. And I'm so happy she exists. This is the original, actually. This is the coat. I've sold a couple of these, and I actually gave the white version away at a clothing swap a little while ago. But this is the OG. She's going to stay with me unless I frog her and use the yarn for something else, which I do a lot. But I'm very grateful that she exists. And I'm so grateful for what she did for me and my career, so that I can continue to make beautiful and size inclusive and well-written patterns. So yeah, a lot of love in my heart for this girl. These arrived not too long after the mandala coat. As you can see, I have once again frogged a little bit of it to repurpose the yarn for a dress that I'm working on. I didn't have enough black. This is more Hobby Sultan Cotton Kings in colorway rock crystal, and I'll put up pics and I think I have some videos of this. I might do. Yes, I do. I definitely do. And yeah, I still really quite like these, but even though this is like objectively really thin fabric, it's still quite heavy, and it still adds quite a bit of silhouette around my hips, which I just hate that. So I have plans to frog these and use the yarn for something else, but this is a very basic filet crochet diamond motif on the pant legs. Super easy. There are free charts all over the internet, and I was just sort of going off the math that I remembered from the pineapple pants, because those still existed at that point. I could still revisit them and piggyback off of that. But yeah, not super much to say about these. I still like them, but as far as projects go, I don't really show them off all that much. But they are, you know, an integral part of the timeline. So, oh, caught on my glasses chain again. Now this is a little bit of a skip in the timeline. There's an entire other pattern between the coat and these rat pants, but I'm not terribly fussed about her. It's literally just the shirt version of this. It was like me riding my own coattails of success to varying degrees of interest from the public. It's my least successful pattern by far, actually. The shirt version, not the coat. This is my most successful pattern. Anyway, back on topic. I decided I wanted to do another pair of wrap pants, so I did, and I made them flowery and pink. And this is Hobby Salt and Cotton Kings in colorway Pink Sapphire, the same as the pink parasol. If you think I can't say pink enough, wait till you see the frickin' pictures, because you want to talk about pink. There is that little, that shirt in there. I was thinking of making that a pattern, but it just, the grading prospects and everything was just too much of a nightmare. Never got around to it. Don't intend to. She's cute. I think I frogged her for another pattern. I'm not sure. I would have to go through my closet and see if she exists anywhere. But, you know, the star of the show are the pants, obviously. And drum roll, please. I'm gonna frog these. I have better ideas for the yarn, and I never wear them. This was, you know, just another sort of algorithm grab, and she grabbed. People really liked these, and you know, I still do, but you know, I never wear them. The most important thing is what these sort of introduced me to, and that is this flower lace. This is where sort of everything kind of culminates and explodes, and I put my skills to the absolute test and make what I still consider to be the single best and most beautiful garment that I've ever made in my entire life. But we do have just one little stepping stone before we get there. That little stepping stone is this shawl. She's very cute, she's very simple. I decided that I love this flower motif so much, but I really wanted to push the envelope of what you could do with it, because I wasn't satisfied with the repeats only working sort of in a square or rectangular fashion. So, as I am wont to do, I went ham on it for a couple days and finally found the way to get it to decrease at the sides and make a perfectly lovely triangle shape. And there we go, a gorgeous shawl that I never wear. Probably gonna frog, probably gonna turn into a parasol if I'm honest. But the important thing is that I figured out how to get this motif to decrease, and that is what resulted in this girl. So let's get into her. We're gonna let her take a load off, because she's heavy. She's heavy. She is cotton, and she is heavy. And I don't want her to stretch out too much here. But yeah, so this is the best thing I've ever made so far. And we're gonna just, I'm just gonna let the music play and let you look at pictures and footage, because nothing I can do just sitting here with her falling off the hanger will do justice to what she looks like. So please just enjoy this beauty. So yeah, this is the culmination of about 4 years of, actually I don't even want to say 4 years because these didn't teach me anything. It's, you know, once I hit the parasol, Ira Rutt's parasol, that's when I actually properly started to learn. And I believe I got my timeline incorrect. I might have said 2021, but it was 2022 when I made my first parasol. So it's been about 2 years of actual really breaking into the craft, really digging into garment making and stitch behavior, and really just kicking my skills into high gear. And this is the result of that. And I want to make an entire video just talking about her, so I won't belabor the point here too much, but hopefully, you know, what I showed was interesting and enjoyable. And if you want to see, you know, more of that, it's all up on Instagram. And obviously she's she's got chandelier beads. They won't show up too well, and honestly they don't do much in the sun anyway, so I don't know why I put them on there. They kind of just add unnecessary weight. But yeah, this is the best thing I've ever made until the goth dress that I'm working on at the moment usurps the throne, but we'll see. This is my favorite, and I'm actually gonna go just let her lay down because I really, again, she's heavy. I really don't want her to just be hanging there anymore and stretching out. Oh, and of course the yarn, Hobby Sultan, Cotton Kings in Rainbow Pyrite. Oh, and there's the matching parasol. I don't know where she is right now, but I've probably put footage up of her already, so you know what it's about. So yeah, following the rainbow dress, things kind of, you know, got a little calmer. I was actually traveling to visit with my partner, so I couldn't bring my whole huge yarn stash with me, obviously. Couldn't do any intense projects while I was visiting him. I was still really obsessed with flower lace, so I came up with a Bolero pattern, and there's this regular sleeve version, and then there's a long sleeve version with the triangle sleeves. This is my Blossamer Bolero, and the long sleeve version is my Sakura Shrug. They're all size inclusive on my Etsy and what have you. If you'd like to peruse them, make them for yourself. Go wild. But yeah, the Sakura Shrug is actually in consignment right now, so I don't have her with me. Doubt she's gonna sell, but I don't have her to show, so archive footage it is. When I came home from traveling, I was still just, you know, taking things easy in a design sense. And I was still, you know, really into rainbows. So I actually revisited the Granny Square dress in a rainbow version. She's also quite heavy. She's cotton. This is Hobby Friends Cotton 8.6. I believe it's 8.6. Yes, 8.6. And she's a good winter dress because she's, you know, heavy and warm cotton. I mean, look at the photo, she looks great. And the stockings with that are my Scream Queen stockings, which is my second most recent pattern. These were fun, just little, suddenly I had the itch to make socks. I've always loved to knit socks, but obviously crocheting socks is inadvisable, shall we say. But like lace stockings, ooh, perfect. So went crazy on that. Was a pretty successful pattern. People are enjoying that. And after that is when I redesigned, rewrote, revamped the Arachne's Curse coat. It was now hidden behind the pink pants. And that almost brings us up to date, except for this. And I'm just going to show this one because the other two are, well, the rainbow one is indisposed on the mannequin to my right, but I got footage of her so you can see how she looks, and the pink one as well. But yes, this is my, okay, should have looked this up before I started filming. I decided to name it after the succulent, I believe it's pronounced Echeveria. Put a picture of her up, but you can see how she looks like the central motif. So this is going to be my Echeveria duster, currently in the writing and drafting process, working up the pattern samples for her, but that'll be my next pattern test and my next pattern release. But yeah, that brings us full circle, I believe. I left out, a couple projects here and there and what have you. I don't necessarily consider them integral to the timeline or worth their own discussion. Some of them have been frogged and the yarn repurposed, so I do that a lot. I try not to let my yarn stash get too big. I just reuse, reuse, reuse. But yeah, I hope to God this has turned into an even halfway decent or coherent or quality video whatsoever. I apologize if there's been any sort of mic rustling or lens flares in my glasses from the ring light. I don't necessarily know the first thing about YouTube. I didn't terribly want to invest in, hardware until it was evident that this could be something people were interested in. So this is just sort of a litmus test. I hope it was an enjoyable, however long this ends up being. It's been over an hour of filming for me. I hope it was enjoyable just to sort of watch me ramble and talk about my art. I never expected to get into crochet this way. I always thought I would just be knitting for the rest of my life. And I haven't picked up a pair of knitting needles in months. I have some sock yarn on the way. I love me a sock. I cannot wait to just go ham through those and catch up on my letterboxed backlog. I'm not the best at emoting, but it makes me really happy. I love this. I love what I create. And, I people like it too, and hopefully you like this and whatever this was. If you've got questions or anything, ask away. And if you want to hang around here for whatever happens in the future, do that, up to you. This was just kind of a little project for me to see what happens. My next idea for a video is the big long process of the current dress that I'm working on. I'll put a little bit of sneak peek footage up here. What am I talking about, sneak peek? I have a short up right now about the dress, but yeah, this is the current huge project. So, and that is something that I really want to, I've been documenting a lot of it, and I really just want to get into the details of it. Yeah, if any of this work has interested you at all, you can hop over to my Etsy, check out the patterns I have available. I am most active on Instagram. Go follow me there if that's your bag. Also, of course, please check out the other artists that I've talked about. Please go check out Arachne's parasol pattern. Again, just a fabulous, wonderful pattern. And I owe it a lot for the trajectory that I ended up on as a designer. Draguna's ley lines pattern as well. Check that out. My brother, check him out. Seriously, his art is so underappreciated. He's incredible. Anyway, I don't know the best way to end this. I'll probably just do some cute little audio musical fade out. I hope I found some decent music for this. Oh God, please don't let it be cringe. Anyway, thanks for watching whatever this was.